everybody. How you doing? This is Sherry Jones, your Speak Life midwife, here with a Speak Life Moment show. I'm so excited to be here with you all this evening. We are going to talk about how to finish 2020 strong. We have had quite the year, but we can still finish strong. And so I'm just hopping on a few minutes early before 9 to give you all some time to come on up in the room. And then I am also going live on Pop Gospel Speaks Radio, and I have to push that button for them right at 9 o'clock. So I'm hopping on to Facebook and Instagram a little bit early. So I hope that you all have had a wonderful day today. I hope that your day has been blessed. It is Monday, Motivational Monday. Time to be motivated and to push through the week. Okay, so that's why I like to hop on Monday nights to give you all that extra push, that extra nugget of inspiration, that extra motivation to make sure that you can push through the week. Hi, I see on Instagram, cutie1950. Thank you so much for hopping on. On Facebook, I can't see who you are until you make a comment. But make a comment and I will shout you out. But you all, I will be starting in 1 minute, a couple of minutes actually. Give me one moment, Instagram. Sorry, I have to move you real quick. But we will be getting started quickly, okay? I'm going to hit that button on Pop Gospel Speaks Radio right at 9 and then hop right on into my content. Okay. But thank you so much for being here for this Speak Life Moment show. And again, the purpose of these videos is I just like to come on Mondays, give you that extra special motivation and inspiration to last through your week. I am Sherry Jones, again, your Speak Life midwife. I am an author, a speaker, a coach, and a podcast host. So I wear many hats, but they are all to serve you. Okay. All right. We'll be getting started in 1 minute. Oh, hey, Gloria. I didn't recognize your IG name. All right, y'all. We're about to get started. I'm going to hit that button. Hello. This is Sherry Jones of Sherry Speaks Life, your Speak Life midwife, here with your Speak Life Moment show. I want to welcome all of my listeners on various platforms. We have listeners on Pop Gospel Speaks Radio. Welcome. Thank you for tuning in. We have listeners or viewers on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. So we are streaming everywhere. Thank you so much for tuning in. Again, I am Sherry Jones. I am your Speak Life midwife here with the Speak Life Moment show to share some inspiration, some nuggets of inspiration to help you through your week, to help you on this Monday, this marvelous Monday, this motivational Monday, whatever you want to call it. It is Monday. And sometimes Monday can be discouraging. Sometimes we look at, oh, we had a great time on the weekend. Now it's Monday. I don't want to do anything, but you have to get back into the grind. And I love to come on and kind of give you that extra push. Speak Life Moments. I call it Speak Life Moments because that is my platform. I am Sherry Speaks Life. And I had to learn how to speak life to myself and to my circumstances in order to push forward in the things that I am doing. And I want to encourage you to do the same. So tonight's topic is Speak Life Moment. Let's finish strong. 2020 has been a rough year. It's been rough for a lot of people. We have lost people because of COVID-19. We have experienced racial injustice. We have an election coming up that's kind of dividing everyone. So 2020 has been rough, but it is October and it is the fourth quarter. So what are we going to do about it? It's like we're playing. I'm not a big sports person, but think of it as we're playing football and it is the fourth quarter. We're down and out. We are like a couple of touchdowns away from winning. Are we going to give up? Are we going to say we're not going to make it? There's no way we can score. Is no way that we can push forward with the things that we have to do in order to win? No, of course not. We are going to push forward and we are going to play until the end. That's what we're going to do. We are going to play until the end. And we're going to make sure that we finish strong because we want to be winners. I know you want to be a winner. I know I want to be a winner. So, how are we going to finish strong? I'm glad you asked. That is the whole point of this message this evening. How are we going to finish strong? So, I'm going to give you some tips on how to finish strong. The first tip, but I'm sure you've heard a lot of people talk about it, is to vote. Voting is so important. This election is very important. And so it is time for us to exercise our right to vote. And that's one way that we can finish this year strong, knowing that our voice has been heard, knowing that we have exercised this right that some people bled and died for, that women have only had since 1920, so 100 years. But voting is more than just the presidential election. And I think a lot of people get discouraged with voting because they are thinking about, well, I don't like either candidate, so I'm just not going to cast my vote. But y'all, there are so many other things that we're voting for. You have your local elections, you have school board, you have Senate, all kinds of things. I mean, some people may be voting for their mayors, their governors. I mean, there's all types of local elections going on, not just the president. So when you do not go to the polls because you don't agree with either candidate and you decide you don't want to vote, then you're also not casting your vote for your local candidates, those people that directly impact your community and the things that are going on in your life. So make sure that you cast that ballot. Go to the polls and vote. That is what democracy is all about. That's what is being an American citizen is about. There are countries around the world where people don't have voices heard. And so here in America, we have a right to have our voices heard. We have an opportunity. Now, with COVID going on, we don't know what the lines are going to be like on November 3rd. So we have the opportunity to vote early. If you have the chance to go to the polls and vote early, still voting in person, still knowing that your ballot is being cast, that your ballot is being counted, and you don't have to stand in that long old line, do it. Now, if you don't need to stand in the line on November 3rd, that is fine. I mean, I remember, I think it was the 2008 election. I think my husband and I stood in line for like 4 hours to vote. But at that time, you could stand close to each other. Now everyone has to be 6 feet apart. Everyone has to wear a mask. The process is slower. So where you would have been in line for 4 hours, you might be in line for 8. So if you have the opportunity to vote early, go ahead and exercise that right and vote. Now, the other part of voting is accepting the results. We don't want to hear that. We don't want to hear that part. Like, I only want my candidate to win. And if my candidate doesn't win, I'm going to be angry. I'm going to pitch a fit. I'm going to just carry on. We can't do that, y'all. We have to make sure that we accept the results. No matter who wins the election, whether it's our candidate or not, we still have the obligation to pray for that person, to support that person in the way that we can. Particularly, I'm talking about the presidential election, but we need to pray for that person, that they are led and that they're guided and that they make wise decisions. And then we need to confront them if there is something that goes wrong. You have the right to exercise your voice in that way as well. So one way that we can finish 2020 strong is to vote. Vote, exercise your right, make sure that your voice is heard, but also accept the results. You got to accept the results, y'all. You can't go into it, pitching a fit if your person doesn't win. And then if your person doesn't win and you did not vote, you really don't have a reason to pitch a fit because you had an opportunity to exercise your vote, exercise your right. And for those of you that may be saying, well, I don't totally agree with any candidate. No candidate is perfect. No candidate is going to check off all your boxes. What you have to look at is which candidate lines the most to what's most important to you. Look at the issues, prioritize the issues to what is most important and what impacts you. And then whichever candidate lines up with the majority of them, because they're still not going to line up with all of them, but whichever candidate lines up with the majority of the things that are a priority and are important to you, then that is who you vote for. So y'all make sure you cast your ballot and vote. Okay? My second point is focus on doing your part. So you may be sharing, Sherry, what do you mean by that? What is my part? Your part is whatever it is that you have been called to do. Whatever it is that is important to you, that you have influence in. So say you love children and you feel that you have been called to educate children, then focus on that. Focus on doing your best at that. If you are a teacher, then focus on being the best teacher ever, being the best educator ever, the best administrator ever. If you are not an educator, but you know that that's your heart desire, you know that that's what you want to do, and that's what you've been called to do, then do what you need to do to become an educator. Research going back to school. If you want to work in childcare, say you want to open your own daycare center, do that. Do the research. Figure out what you need to do to open your own daycare center or to work in a daycare center. Whatever it is that is your part in the whole scheme of things, in this whole big wide old world, the things that you are supposed to be doing, then that's what you have to do. And that's what you focus on. You can't focus on what everybody else is doing, what your mom and them is doing, sister and them, and this person ain't doing right and that person ain't doing right. Look at yourself. Look at the man in the mirror. Are you doing right? Are you doing the things that you're supposed to do? If so, then that's what you need to focus on. Like for me, I know that My whole calling is to be an encourager, to inspire people. And so that's what I do. And everything that I do is linked to being an encourager. This Speak Life Moment show. I'm here to encourage you. My books, my Christian fiction novel, Trouble Don't Last Always, to encourage you know that trouble don't last always. No matter what it's going to work out in the spiritual. So trouble don't last always. And in that book, you're following the journey of a young lady who is struggling with her faith. And it's to encourage you. If you're in that same position, if you're struggling with your faith, if you're unsure of what you need to do, pick up that book. Trouble Don't Last Always. It will encourage you. Then my second book, Speak Life Moments, A Transformational Journey. I'm teaching you how to speak life. I'm teaching you how to love yourself. I'm teaching you how to impact the world so you can birth the greatness within, so you can do your part. With my podcast, We Are the Church with Sherry Jones, another way to encourage you. We talk about today's issues from a Christ perspective and encourage Christians to not just go to church, but be the church. We are the church. The church is not a building. The church is not the four walls. The church is not your pastor, your congregation, sister so and so, and mother so and so. That is not the church. The church is each and every one of us. And each and every one of us has an obligation to be the church. With my coaching program that I'm starting, I'm helping aspiring writers to get through the tough questions, to get through that pre-writing process, answer it, have a strategic plan, have an outline laid out for your book so that you can tell an effective and impactful story. There's a process that you have to go through before you write the first word on that piece of paper. But that's my part in encouraging you if you want to write. So everything that I do, everything that I just listed, lines up with my call to be an encourager. So what is your call? Are you called to be a nurturer? Is everything that you're doing nurturing? Are you nurturing young people? Are you nurturing the elderly? Who are you called to nurture? And are you nurturing them? If you're called to be a teacher, or again, or if you're called to coach, whatever you're called to do, if you're called to teach people about their finances, you're great with money, you're great with finances, and you could help somebody else, then if that's what you're called to do, then that's what you're called to do. And that's what you need to focus on in this fourth quarter. Focus on the things that you are called to do. Focus on doing your part. Okay? Focus on doing your part. And then the last point is to pay it forward. We always talk about paying it forward, doing something good, and then you do something good for somebody else, and that person does it for somebody else, and somebody else, and somebody else. And now you have impacted, could be hundreds of people just by your one kind deed. We cannot lose focus of that. Paying it forward is so important. Do something nice for someone unprompted. They don't always have to tell you what they need. They don't always have to tell you, hey, I need to talk today. Hey, I need some attention today. No, just do it. And when someone does something nice for you, you do something nice for someone else. Pay it forward. And there are many, many ways that you can pay it forward. One thing that I like to do that I've heard people do is pay for the person behind you in the line at the drive-through. You're going to the Chick-fil-A and go ahead and pay for the car behind you. Now, if they got $50 worth of food and you can't do that, then that's okay. But just ask the cashier, hey, what did they order? I want to pay for them. And then when they come up to the window and the cashier says, you've been blessed, someone paid for your meal, you could make somebody's day. You don't know if that person behind you is get ready to spend their last $5, their last $10 on that meal, and you could do something about it. Pay it forward. One kind deed leads to another. Another good way that you can pay it forward is, especially now because gas prices are down, but you could pay for the if you have to go into the convenience store, pay for the person that just pumped gas at a pump. Or if you can't pay the whole thing, give the cashier $5 and say, hey, put this towards their tank of gas. That is a great way to pay it forward. And then it doesn't even have to be monetary. You could pay it forward in time. Spend time volunteering. Spend time volunteering at your local soup kitchen or food bank, not just on the holidays. Because we do a lot of stuff for Thanksgiving and Christmas, and we want to give to the Salvation Army. We want to give to, here we have a food bank, Harvest Hope Food Bank. We want to give to those things during the holiday, but you don't have to wait until Thanksgiving or Christmas. You do not have to wait until Thanksgiving or Christmas to do something good for someone else, to pay it forward. You don't have to wait. So those are some ways that we can finish 2020 strong. Y'all, don't give up. Don't give up in this last quarter, the fourth quarter of the year. The year is not over. Is not over. Don't throw in the towel. Not yet. There's still more for you to do. There's still more game for you to play. You can still win. Yeah, you can still win. Don't think that 2020 has just been so horrible that there's no redemption. There's no redemption for the things that we have gone through in 2020. There is. And there's something good that can still come out of 2020. There's something good that can still come out of 2020. There's been some good that has already come out of 2020. Some people, all the bad stuff, I know with COVID and people dying and the schools, kids having to do virtual school. Child, I can testify. If you are a parent, you understand the stresses of virtual school. All that is bad stuff. But let's look at the good stuff. Let's look at the businesses that have started. Some people, they lost their job or they were downside, they lost hours, whatever the case may be, but it pushed them out of their comfort zone to start their own business. It pushed them out of their comfort zone to write that book. I started a podcast during COVID, during 2020. So there has been some good stuff that's happened. And even, not even business wise, but think about the time that you have spent with your family and friends that you wouldn't have had it not been for COVID. If COVID did not quarantine you and make you sit down with your family and your friends and spend time with them, those closest to you, those in your household that you see every single day. But a lot of times we're walking around like zombies. We're just in and out, sometimes barely speaking, sometimes so busy that we don't take that time. But during quarantine, a lot of families have drawn closer to each other. A lot of children have spent time with their parents that they wouldn't have spent otherwise. Couples have gotten closer. Y'all, there going to be a lot of quarantine babies coming about in 2021. I'm just saying, 2020 has not been all bad. And we have a chance to continue 2020, to finish strong, to finish strong. And let's see, we have a comment here. It says, remember the latter is better than the former, and 2020 is good because God is still in charge. So right. So right. Thank you so much, Millie, for that comment. The latter is better than the former. 2020 is good because God is still in charge. God is still in charge, y'all. No matter what it looks like to us, no matter what 2020 has been like for you and your family, God is still in control. And Romans 8:28 tells us that he can work everything out for our good, for those that love him and are called according to his purpose. So he can still work it out for your good, no matter what your year has been like so far. You have an opportunity right now, this moment, to focus on God, to focus on his will for your life, and to still finish 2020 strong. You can do it. You can do it. So, just recapping my points, I love to go back and just recap, make sure that we remember what we talked about. How can you finish 2020 strong? Vote. Y'all get out there to them polls and vote. Early vote if you can. I know Millie's on the line and she voted early. I plan on voting early too. Get out there and vote. I understand being leery of the mail-in thing. I'm a little leery of the mail-in thing, but you can vote early in person. Y'all exercise your right to vote. And then once you exercise that right to vote, know that you have to accept the outcome, even if it's not the outcome that you wanted. Even if your candidate doesn't win, you have to pray for the candidate that is chosen. And you have to support them in any way that they can for anything that is good, anything that you is important to you. Okay? So y'all get out there and vote. My second point, focus on doing your part. What is it that you have been called to do? What is that thing that you're passionate about? What is that thing that you know you've been gifted to do? Focus on doing your part. Okay? And then lastly, pay it forward. Do something good for somebody. If someone does something good for you, Pay it forward and do something good for somebody else. Or you start the chain reaction by doing something good. And you can do something good every day, y'all. I talked about some things that were monetary, but there are things that you can do that don't cost a thing. Be a listening ear. Chat with someone that you know is having a hard time. You know they're struggling. Reach out to them. Send them a text. Or better yet, pick up the phone and call. Pay it forward. Um, another comment here. Oh, sorry. Says, I always tell people to look beyond what you see because sometimes you may have to tilt your head a little and look around. Oh, I like that. I like that. Thank you for that, Millie. Look beyond what you see because sometimes you may have to tilt your head a little and look around. You can't always look at things straight on. Everything is not black and white. Everything, some things are more than they appear. Like when you're looking in the mirror, your side view mirror, and it says some things are larger than they are, closer than they appear. There are some things that are closer than they appear, and we have to take the time to look. Okay. But thank you all so much for tuning in for this Speak Life moment. I hope that it was a blessing to you. I hope that this word, that this message encouraged you. Because as I said, that's what I do. I am an encourager. So I encourage you to check me out on my website, sherryspeakslife.com. On there, you can read and check out all about my books. As I mentioned before, my Christian fiction novel, Trouble Don't Last Always. Speak Life Moments, a transformational journey, is a 21-day devotional. And then I was also a co-author for a collaborative book called The Queen Experience. So you'll learn all about that. Then you can also listen to my podcast on my website as well. We are the church with Sherry Jones. And then Pop Gospel Speaks Radio is actually playing some of the older episodes every Friday at 11 a.m. So you can listen to them as well. And with my coaching program, How to Speak Life with Your Story, please make sure that you click the link that's in the description of this video to get on the wait list for that coaching program. But you all take care. You all be blessed. Thank you so much for watching and listening this evening. I truly, truly, truly appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you so much, Gloria, for being on Instagram, Millie, for being on Facebook, and to my Pop Gospel Speaks radio listeners. Thank you, thank you, thank you. But you all take care. You all be blessed. I love you with the love of Christ. You may say, Sherry, you don't know me from anybody. How can you love me? I love you, and I love the God in you. He's in there, y'all. We just have to bring him out. Y'all take care. Bye bye. All right, my Pop Gospel Speaks listeners, I'll chat with you later. Bye bye, Facebook. Love y'all.